What's up guys, and welcome to WebPro, and welcome to this iPhone XS Max review, this really long overdue review. And I think it's a great time to review this phone now that Tech-tober is over and done with, and we've seen all the flagships that are to be released this year, and all the phones that are potentially supposed to compete with the iPhone XS and the XS Max this year. And so for that reason, it's a good time to really evaluate this phone and see how it stacks up to its competition for anyone who maybe wants to buy a new phone for the holiday season or something. So here's your post Tech-tober iPhone XS Max review. Really, design-wise, there's not much to talk about. If you're paying any attention to this phone, then you already know most of the things that you wanted to know really about this phone, about the design, about how it looks, the dimensions, the material, the build quality. All that stuff is something you might have already gotten wind of. But if you're in the pain of it, here we go. So this is the iPhone XS Max, so everything I say in this video applies to the smaller XS unless I specify otherwise. So generally, it's still the same phone we had last year, at least in terms of design. Still the same glass sandwich, that metallic stainless steel frame all round. It's still the same dual camera at the back, the same speaker grill, the same lightning port at the bottom, the same notch. Everything is just the same as the iPhone X last year. But there are, of course, a few changes, a few design incremental updates to the design of the phone and general look of the phone really. Number one is the new color. So there's a new color for the iPhone XS and the XS Max. That color is gold, and it looks really gorgeous, especially the stainless steel frame. It looks really gold. It's a slightly different accent from the glass back, but it still looks really cool. Number two, the new iPhone XS and the XS Max are now IP68 water resistant, which means it's an upgrade from last year's IP67. That's not too big of a deal for me, unless you really want to take those photos of your dreadlocks in the pool. It's just a small incremental update. Number three, which is the biggest update and the biggest change in the design of the phone, is the new phone, the new form factor, which is the iPhone XS Max. This is a huge phone, actually the same footprint as the iPhone 8 Plus last year, and it's now an edge-to-edge display, so it's now rocking a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display with up to 458 ppi. It's bright, it's contrasty, it's really good. And then of course we have that notch at the top. Really, design-wise, this is the iPhone and the update we all wanted, a big modern iPhone, and Apple has handed it to us. And if you've been paying attention, you can already notice that this is going to be a two-handed phone, at least for most people, just because of how big and slippery it is. And it's also going to be occupying a lot of space in your pocket, so you better get prepared for that if you're planning on getting this one. But the smaller iPhone X is still a 5.8-inch like last year, so that should work better if you don't like the extremely big phones. That should be your thing, because they have the exact same specs and the exact same features except the size. But even with this big iPhone, you can tweak the reachability settings and activate one-handed mode, which brings the icons and the stuff at the top of your screen down below so you can reach them when you want to use your phone with one hand. And then there are also two minor observations that are made with the design of the phone. These are really minor observations. They might not even matter to you, but since I noticed them, I might as well mention them. So number one, the camera module on the XS and the XS Max is slightly wider than the one in the iPhone X last year. So if you had an iPhone X and you're upgrading to the XS or the XS Max, and you had those exact slim fit cases, then they might not work on this one. Number two, the grill at the bottom now has this antenna band that cuts through one side of the grill, and now it looks oddly weird and asymmetrical. I don't know, it just looks weird to me. I think Apple will find another place to put that antenna band, but I guess they just thought it was appropriate to put it there. But anyway, it's a small issue, but since I noticed, I might as well share with you. Anyway, moving on the inside, you can see the biggest change is probably that A12 Bionic chip, which is supposed to be an improvement to last year's A11, which was still the most powerful processor up until this iPhone XS and XS Max were released. And in fact, if you install iOS 12 in last year's iPhone X, you can hardly notice the difference in performance and speed when you use either the iPhone X or the XS and the XS Max. The performance is really good. I can say the A11 and the A12 Bionic chips are the most powerful processors in the market, in the smartphone market right now, period. With iOS 12, multitasking, augmented reality apps, the camera, everything is really trying to take advantage of this beast of a processor. And then the camera is also really great, just like the iPhone X's camera last year. And I did a whole separate video on this camera that's been live on the channel for about 10 days now, so you can go and check that out. But the bottom line is, this is one of the best cameras there is on any smartphone this year. It's actually first in class for video recording. No other phone can record videos better than this one. But you can go and check out my video for more information on the camera. Anyway, generally this is a great iPhone, the best iPhone Apple has ever made. And if you're an iPhone user and you love iPhones and all that stuff, then chances are high you're gonna like this phone. This thing will make you happy. If you have the iPhone X, I can tell you there's no need to upgrade to iPhone XS. It's more or less the same thing. But if you're one of those people who were demanding for the big iPhone and they wanted the big modern iPhone, and you were in the comment section talking about you want a big iPhone, and you're those people who are buying the iPhone 8 Plus instead of the iPhone X because you love big phones, then this is your phone, iPhone XS Max. It's a new size, 6.5 inches, and by all means go for it. But if you're looking for something to blow your mind, or maybe finally convince you to switch over from Android to iOS, then I'm afraid you might not find it here. At least I'm not finding it here. This is still a very Apple-y phone in every sense of the word. Like, the things I love about iPhones are still here, and the things I hate about iPhones are still here. For instance, the things I love are performance, the great camera, the great build quality, the design, it looks really good. Those are the things I love about the iPhone, and I love them about this iPhone XS and the XS Max. But then the things I hate, like for instance, it's 2018. Why doesn't Apple have USB-C on the iPhones? Like, literally everyone else is using USB-C, and they're trying to conform to one norm and use one cable to charge and transfer data from their devices. But Apple is being stubborn and sticking to the Lightning port, which nobody else uses apart from Apple. Number 2, why is Siri so bad in 2018? Number 3, this phone is capable of fast charging, but Apple packs the slow charger in the box and then sells to you the fast charger on their website at an extra cost, even considering that this is the most expensive phone on the market right now. So many questions I ask myself about Apple devices, and more so since I started using this phone as my daily driver some 20 days ago. You do realize that this phone starts at the exact same price as the highest end Android, the Note 9. But does it really offer the same value? Well, if you're a seasoned iPhone user and you're already in that Apple ecosystem, and you have other Apple devices, you have a MacBook, you have a HomePod, you have maybe the iMac, you have an Apple Watch, then your answer will probably be always yes. And I agree with you. If you're already that deep into the Apple ecosystem and you're trying to buy a new phone, then the iPhone XS is kind of perfect. And if you love big phones, the XS Max is even better. But in this day and age where phones like OnePlus 6T are offering so much value at just half the price, and then you have the Google Pixel with the best camera on any smartphone, pure stock Android, and Google's own hardware also going at a fraction of the price, and then the Note 9 with a 4000 mAh battery, Bluetooth remote stylus, so many things, so many options out there on Android. You start to wonder, is this really the best phone in the market? Is this really the best value for money? At least if you're not deep into the Apple ecosystem. I feel like there's more value and more reason to go with one of the many Android offerings out there than to go with either iPhone XS or the XS Max. Like I said, this is a great iPhone. It's the best iPhone on the market, but it's far from the best smartphone. So let me know what you think about this phone, especially after seeing the Galaxy Note 9, seeing the Pixel 3, and seeing the OnePlus 6T and what they have to offer. Let me know, will this be your next phone? Is this your holiday smartphone for this season? Let me know down in the comment section below. Personally, I'm really thinking about keeping this one. I really miss my Android phone, to be honest. But we'll see. If I make the change, if I go back to Android, I'll let you guys know. But for now, let me know. Let's talk down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, my name is Chris, and I'll talk to you guys soon.